In this lab, managing virtual machines, the first thing we're going to do is explore availability. Now I'm going to open up for lab 4 here, the lab files, lab 4, to the starter. I'm going to open this up into the ISC, and then I'm going to change some of the values in here. So what I'm going to do is get Azure VM on here, and that's going to do is that'll show me the ones here that are attached to this account. Now if I don't see any right here, what I'm going to do is add my Azure account first. So once I do that, of course, it's going to bring up the web browser over here. Using my Azure account over here, log in, enter the password. Then after that, I'll be able to attach the resources on here, type in the password over here. As you can see now, here shows my account here. And I can even say this, get Azure subscription, and that'll give me these values right here. So as you can see that here, now let me do is this. Let's take a look about this one right here. So we got the service name on here. When I say get Azure, let's try the get Azure command again. Let's see what we do is on here. You should be able to get this one here. Get the service name in a moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these over here, highlight it, and then I'm going to do is here, I'll record the service name over here. What I'm going to do is this, right over here. I'm going to take my service name, and I'm going to paste it right there, over here. Now I'm going to take this, I'm going to highlight this one right here, and then I'm going to run it. Now notice that the availability set name is blank over here. This one is blank. So I'm going to set the availability one to the datum front end in a moment. So I'm going to do is this one right here. I'm going to take this one right here, replace with this again, and I put it in there. Great. And notice this command should do here. If I do that one right there, then I'm going to do is this, run this selection. So I set the availability set on there to the front end. Now after I do this right here and I get Azure VM again, I should see the availability set name filled into a datum front end. So let's take a look at it here. Supposedly it's a let's try this. Get Azure VM. And let's see now if for one of the ones there on this one right here, we take a look at the availability set on it should be. So we'll check this out here. Just check this out here. Get this again. And run this again. Let's see what happens on here. Okay, now that after I've set the affinity group on it, let's take a little look at this command here. Let's try to run this selection. And let's see how we do on this one right here. Now you can notice the availability set name is a datum front end. I'm going to do it to the other VM, to VM2. So now I've run it again. Notice it's on VM2 for the service name, and I'm setting the availability set to a datum front end. Both of these ones right here. Now that I've set the availability set to this one, let's do is on this. Let's run this again, the selection, and we're going to see it on here, the availability set. Should be filled in. Great. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to configure the Azure load balancer. So then I'm going to go here, browse all. I'm going to go down to virtual machines. I'm going to click on Web 1. And I'm going to look in the configuration section here. Under here, settings. I'm going to go to load balance sets. And I'm going to do is type in a datum web EP. I'm going to join one. And I'm going to go in here, configure some. On this other one right here, type this in here, port 80, probe port. And here I'm also going to type 80. Either the retries is 15. And the number of retries 31. I'm going to put on here. Say OK. OK. To configure this load balancer, I'm going to do is I'm going to join. I've already joined WebVM to this datum web endpoint. So in this one right here now, I'm going to first of all, I'm going to do is, as you can see in here, we see availability set. We see all these ones in here. And we look under here, under extensions, load balancers, we have all these ones under here. We don't have any over here. Availability sets I see here, and so forth. So as you can see here, we have this endpoints here. And I'm going to do is, I'm going to add, no endpoints found on this one right here. So this endpoint, a datum web endpoint, and I'm going to take 80 from public to private, and I'll see if I can add this one over here. I did it on the other guy. Take a look here in the notifications. So I added, remember I added the VM, a datum web endpoint to virtual machine web VM1. So now I'm going to do is add it to VM2, and then I'm going to do is add both of them to a load balancer set. So we're going to try to do this a different way. I'm going to click on the virtual machines. I'm going to click on this one here. I'm going to go to configure it. And when I click on this one right here, I'm going to click on endpoints. And I'm going to add an endpoint to it. I'm going to add one here. And the endpoint I'm going to call on here. So I'm going to call this datum web endpoint. Private port, public port. And I'm going to create a load balance set. The load balance set. Datum web load balance set. Maximum number of probes is going to be 31. Set to 31. And let's see what it does in here. Update in progress. Now I'm going to go in the meantime to the other one here, and let's just see if I can add it to an existing one. Notice here I'll add it to the existing. Load balance is set. Let's see if it lets me do this. Let's see if we can do it this way. Give it a try, adding the endpoint to it. So I already added one endpoint to the other virtual machine. So now I'm adding the endpoint to this one, So as you can see now, if I look on each one right here, I can see on the endpoints of this one right here, this one web VM has gone to datum web EP. Let's go on here, and this one has also gone on to the load balance set. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some test space to test the load balancer. We'll be adding a test page to test the load balancer. Now in Lab 4, there are no RDP files in the Lab Files folder. That's no problem. We click on the VM, connect, and afterwards I'm going to save it. I'm going to save as, and I'm going to save it under the D drive. Lab Files for Starter, and I'll save it. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to do the same thing for web. Save as. Didn't copy where I want it to go. So instead, file 4 starter. And we'll just do is we'll paste it there. So now that I've done that, I'm going to try connecting to VM1 student pass. Try connecting to it. Now after I do connect to it and it comes up, I'm going to do is I'm going to create a text file on here. Now I'm going to do is here, I'm going to go on the C drive to the inet pub www root, and I'm going to create a new item on here, new text document on here, and I'm going to call it test. Inside here, I'm going to put some tags in here. A datum test page. Close brackets, H1 close bracket. And then after that one, this is web VM1 server bracket / P bracket. So this one is going to do is here. This should have encode this one right. Great. And I'm going to save this one as here. Test.htm. Of course, it's still a test document here. So I'm going to do is here under View, and I need to show the file extension text box. And of course, now I can rename it. Get rid of this pesky text file and call it an HTML. Yes, I'm going to do that. Okay, that's great on that. On here. Now I'm going to do is here. Close close that one on here. Now I'm going to do is connect to the other guy here. I'm going to connect to him. Make sure it's not the same box that I had there. So I've done that on WebVM1. So now I've done the same thing on WebVM2, the WW root on this. So and this is WebVM2, and it'll say that this is the WebVM server. So the next thing I'm going to do is now I'm going to test the availability. So now under the WebVM, I'm going to do is click in the settings, properties. All I'm going to do is under here, I'm going to take the domain name under here and copy it. Then I'm going to open up a new Internet Explorer Windows. Now I'm going to press this. Now, as you can see right here, this should be the default web page right here. Now I'm going to also add the word test.htm. Okay, great. So you can see in this one right here, now the one is here. It looks like I'm on WebVM2. Now I'm going to do is this. I'm going to shut down WebVM2. Now I'm going to do is this. I'm going to shut it down. So on WebVM2, you want to shut it down. Say yes. Under this right here. It should say right here under the notifications that it's shutting down the virtual machine. Okay, as you can see, I successfully shut down the one there. So let's go to the one that shows this one here, and let's try to do a refresh. Notice it went to VM1, served by the other one in the load balancing set, because the other one is shut down. Now I'm going to configure virtual data disk for the Azure VMs. So first thing I'm going to do is here, I'm going to upload VHD to Azure. So now I'm doing is this, I'm getting the storage account name. Highlight that into here. Put that into there. So I put that in here, and now I'm going to do this. Set the Azure subscription. And now I'm going to try running this thing. Let's see, let's check that. As you can see here, I had to do is put quotes around it. Let's try that again. Let's run it. All right, I've set the subscription there. This time it took it. Great. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get Azure storage key. Get Azure storage key. Okay. So I did as I said previously, get Azure storage account to get the name. So this time I have get Azure storage key, and then it asks for the storage account name. I pasted that one in there. And the next thing I'm going to do is new Azure storage. New Azure. New Azure storage container right here. And now I'm going to do is for the parameters for this one. Azure storage. Let's take a look and see. Okay, so I must have had a typo. So I said new Azure storage container, and I added one Azure storage to there. Now I'm going to look for the blob endpoint in here, and I'm going to copy that. Good. Now I'm going to copy that into here. Put that in there. Okay. So notice after copying this, that's the blob endpoint. One is your storage, and then there's a slash, the VHD over here, and the local file path over here goes over here. All right, once again, I'm going to run the selection. And what we can do is add this one on here. See, we're doing an upload about here. We're uploading it. Next I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the VHD to a virtual machine. Virtual machines on here. What I'm going to have to do is start this first. Now I'm going to go down into the disks, and I'm going to attach existing on here. Once it loads, wait. Now I'm going to do is attach existing. And I'm going to do is configure required settings. I'm going to click on the storage account, choose container. Choose storage account. Let's see, I'm going to choose storage account. Configured required settings. Then next, configured required settings onto here. Now I'm going to pick one Azure storage. Then now I'm going to do is choose a disk, configure required settings. And it shows the data disk here. And I'm going to go OK here. Then OK here. Attach existing disk. I have to wait until this is going to be listed under there. So let's see what it's saying. It's attaching the disk to the virtual machines. So I've successfully added the disk to the virtual machine. So let's take a look here. Let's take a look under the disks. And we should see the one under the disk now. And there we go. Have it logged in there. All right, now I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to it. Connect to VM. Should see in the bottom thing here. I'm going to connect to VM2. Let's take a look at this one here. This E drive. You see this one here? Look at this file right here. And I'm going to go in here. Right here. Let's see what we're going to do under here. The disks. We're going to detach the disks. Let's detach that. Are you sure you want to do that? Yes. Wait for that to detach. Detaching the disk. Okay, it's successfully detached. Let's go back in here. I'm going to attach existing one again. Oh, nope, sorry. Attach new. Storage container. On the container that I'm going to do, I'm going to pick the storage account. Choose containers. And after, notice how it goes red here. Very nice. Configure required. Wait for it to load. Click on one Azure storage. Then I'm going to pick this. One Azure storage. Choose a container. Okay. Size 10. Okay. Okay, insert this one right here. And right now, now that I did is I attached a disk, created a new disk on this successfully. I'm going to add a new one again. Use my existing storage account. go here to the required settings and to use the existing storage account. Okay. Size 10 gig again. Okay. Now once this one is on here, it attaches this to here. Now as soon as that's on here, in the file and storage services, storage pools, we create a new storage pool, and I'm going to give it a unique name, new storage pool. Very interesting. Let me wait though for this to finish. Now that they essentially attached the disk to it, let's see if it detects or if I'm going to have to. Maybe I'll cancel this. Seize on this. Okay, let's see, any new disk. I only found one disk so far. One disk here. Let's go here, maybe to make it manage, since I brought it up first. So let's do this on here. Rescan storage. Yeah, that's the ticket. Should be. Aha! Now that I found it, fantastic. New storage pool. Next. Paste that in. Next. Both these disks. Well done. I'm going to create. Well done on there. Great. Now I'm going to do is this. Let's see. New storage pool. Now I'm going to do is this. New virtual disk. Next one right here. And I'm going to call this one new virtual disk. Next. Mirror. Thin. Size 30. And create. Great. Volume wizard. I'm going to do is this. Next, click the 30 gig on this one here. Next, I'm going to assign it. Let's make it 15 gig. Next, assign it to E. Next, I'm going to call it RAID. Volume. Next, and create. It's all done. And it closed. It's all formatting. Great. So now since I gave this E, notice the E drive is different. There's nothing in it than the other one. So I've created a storage space next. So now the next thing I'm going to do is use the cross-platform command line interface. So now that I've gone here, I'm going to save as. And put it into the downloads folder right here. Then I'm going to go in and I'm going to run this one right here. Cross-platform command line interface. I'm going to install this. This provides developers which runs in any operating system for building and deploying Azure service. Very nice. Accept. Now I'm going to do is Azure command. Should have this Azure command here. Let's see that here. This one command. Aha. This one right here. Now I'm going to type some commands. Azure account download. Okay, now this one here is my publishing settings. One's right here. Downloads. Great. And now I'm going to do is this. Azure account import. Max users. Student. Downloads. Publishing settings. Imported it, okay. I'm going to type Azure. When I typed Azure, it told me all the help commands on here. It shows you all these ones of the. Let's try Azure account list. Shows me this, okay. Free trial. This other one's. How about this? Azure network VNet list. Like I told you, all the virtual networks. How about Azure VM list? It'll list all my VMs. Getting them right here. And that's the one that killed me, all those ones I have here. VM1 and VM2. Azure VM disk list. Shows me all the disks. Alright, great. This concludes this module.